The bullet casing hits the concrete floor of range 7 before anyone notices the woman who dropped it. She picks it up with 2 fingers, unhurried, almost careful, and sets it on the wooden ledge in front of her station like it belongs there. Like everything belongs somewhere, if you're patient enough. Her hair is the color of January frost. Her boots are government issue, but old. The kind of old that means they fit exactly right. In her left hand, she holds a range card filled out in handwriting so small and precise it could have been printed. The duty sergeant glances at her once, looks away, glances back. He doesn't know why he looks back. He will by the end of the afternoon. There is a kind of quiet that follows certain people into a room. The quiet that gathers around the ones who have already decided they don't need anything from you. This woman carries it like a second skin. Her name on the sign-in roster reads M. Calloway. No rank listed, no unit. Just the name and an 8-digit grid coordinate for the waiver she signed at the front gate. The range officer on duty, a 26-year-old first lieutenant named Garrett Voss, had barely looked at the paperwork before waving her through. He was running a live-fire qualification for his platoon. He didn't have time for civilians. He especially didn't have time for civilian women who looked like they'd taken a wrong turn on the way to the farmer's market. That is what he will say later, in the very specific tone people use when they are trying to explain how they made an error, when they are still half convinced the error belongs to someone else. But that afternoon on Range 7, Lieutenant Voss is confident. His platoon is good. 3 of his shooters have distinguished marksman badges. 1, Specialist Darian Cole, is being scouted for a sniper pipeline. Voss has built this team over 18 months, and today they are shooting for record, and a civilian woman with gray hair and an old pair of boots is not a variable he has considered. He walks past her station without stopping. She watches him go. Nothing on her face changes. The range is a flat stretch of hard-packed earth outside Fort Williams, New Mexico, bordered by a ridgeline to the west that catches the afternoon light and turns it amber. October. The air is thin and dry and carries the faint iron smell of dust and gun oil. There are 12 shooting positions. Voss's platoon occupies 9 of them. M. Calloway occupies position 12, all the way at the end, where the wind comes in at a slight angle off the ridge and where every qualified shooter knows you have to compensate 3 to 4 minutes of angle, depending on the hour. She sets up her rifle, standard M24, nothing modified, nothing custom. She checks the scope adjustment twice, not frantically but methodically, with the deliberate attention of someone who is not rushing because they have done this enough times that rushing seems almost funny. She rolls her shoulders once, sets her jaw, goes still. A private 2 positions down watches her and leans toward his battle buddy. He says something. Both of them laugh, quiet enough that they think she can't hear. She can hear. She doesn't respond. She loads her magazine. Sergeant First Class Dwight Harmon, the range safety NCO, moves down the line calling out instructions for the qualification stage. He reaches position 12 and pauses. He reads her name card. He reads it again. "You're M. Calloway?" He keeps his voice neutral, professional. "That's what the card says." She doesn't look up. "You familiar with the range layout? Targets at 300, 500, and 800 meters. Wind today is at 8 to 12 knots westerly, with a gust cycle roughly every 40 seconds off that ridge. Pressure's dropped 2 millibars since 0900. She finally looks up at him. Her eyes are the particular gray of old Riverstone. "I've been watching it since I signed in." Harmon holds her gaze for a moment. Something shifts almost imperceptibly in his expression. He nods once, slowly, and moves on without another word. What Harmon doesn't say, standing there on that range, he will say later. But that's later. Lieutenant Voss calls the line to readiness. His platoon goes through their prep with the crisp efficiency of trained soldiers, bolts checked, positions set, ears and eyes on. He walks behind the line, one final time, making small corrections, offering the quiet confidence of a leader who believes in what he's built. He reaches position 12. He stops. "Ma'am." He says the word with a particular inflection that is technically respectful and actually the opposite. This is a military qualification exercise. There's a civilian observation area at the back of the range if you'd be more comfortable. I filled out the correct waiver. She is looking downrange. "I understand that, but my soldiers are trying to—" "I'll stay out of your soldiers' way." She adjusts the scope a quarter turn. "Unless you have a specific regulation preventing non-competing civilians from using designated positions during open-range hours. Do you have that regulation, Lieutenant?" The way she says his rank, precise. A fraction of a pause before it, like she is naming a small fish. Voss's jaw tightens. He is 26 and he has worked for everything he has, and he does not enjoy being made to feel like a small fish. "Fine, don't disrupt the exercise." He walks away. Specialist Cole watches this exchange from position 8. He is 22 and sharper than people give him credit for. And something in the woman's posture, the angle of her elbows, the way her weight settles into the mat without adjustment, makes him file a small question away in the back of his mind. He will return to it. The qualification begins. Voss's platoon shoots well. The 300-meter targets go down clean and fast, the way they should. The 500-meter engagements are solid. 2 misses across the whole platoon, both immediately corrected on second round. Cole at position 8 is exceptional, punching tight groups that would satisfy any range master. Calloway shoots last in the sequence because she is in position 12 and the range goes in order. By the time it is her turn at 300 meters, half the platoon has already started breaking down their gear for the interim period. She fires 5 rounds, 5 hits. The grouping, when the target is brought forward, is tight enough that a range technician mistakes it for a single hole at first and has to count the entry points with a pencil. Someone notices, but not Voss. The 500-meter stage. Wind has picked up slightly. The gusts are now irregular, longer intervals. This is where most shooters take their time, where good shooters wait for lulls, where the range separates competence from instinct. Cole handles it well. 2 other distinguished badge soldiers handle it well. The rest of the platoon takes acceptable losses. Calloway waits. She doesn't fidget. She reads the grass at 200 meters, reads the mirage shimmer at 400, makes a single adjustment with her fingers that doesn't look like much, and fires. 5 rounds, 5 hits. The group is not as tight as the 300. The wind has done its work. But the center of mass placement on each target is identical, a pattern too consistent to be luck. Now Voss notices. He walks down to position 12 during the reset period.